Hi, my name is John Shelby. Okay, so there's been a lot of interest lately in my story. I have a story, the personal story that happened to me of identity theft, criminal identity theft, which is a lot different than financial. Criminal identity theft is when someone basically can steal your good name and use it to whatever they want to, especially if they have a little bit of help. So let me tell you about what happened to me. Okay, so like in 1997, this goes back about 13 years. I had just gotten a decent job where I was going to be making some pretty good money, and I went in to get my schedule, and they were letting me go. They said it was, because of my background check. And I couldn't really think of anything on my background check except for, in my hometown. I had been arrested in 1991, but it was a case that was dismissed, never even made it to court. But I was booked and fingerprints and all that nonetheless. But so I asked them, is it over that? And they said, no, according to our records, it looks like you're incarcerated right now. Well, I was right outside of my hometown of El Paso, Texas, so I decided to go in there and find out what was going on. So I went in, did a fingerprint analysis, everything like that, and they showed me a mugshot of a guy who I recognized, and I didn't really know his name, so I did a little bit of investigation, made a few phone calls right there at the desk, identified him, and the officer basically thanked me, told me to have a nice life or whatever, gave me some paperwork, said, if this pops up for any reason, you got this paperwork, but we'll take care of it. And I said, okay, cool. So, unfortunately, the job that I got, they wouldn't take me back immediately. I had to reapply in 6 months, and I'd already quit my other job, and things happened, whatever. So, word kind of got out too, and it was embarrassing. So, I headed back to Virginia Beach, which was where I was stationed in the Navy, and came back here, and it took me forever. I couldn't find a job. I was looking for a job. I was living off of other people for just a little while, but you wear out your welcome in 3 or 4 days when you're unproductive and you can't find a job. So after a couple of friends' stays, I ended up out on the streets and homeless, and that is the worst time of my life. I've actually got a link of the story and how I got out of being homeless somewhere on one of my websites. I'll see if I can find that for you, and I'll post it on here somewhere. Eventually, after getting off the streets, I got a job bartending and, lived in a hotel and kind of moved my way up through the world. Got another job here and another job there, bartending, got my first apartment, bought my first house, got married, blah, blah, blah. Everything was, okay, but every good job that I applied for, I never got. And I didn't really understand because I'm a pretty good interviewer. Actually, I've even taught people how to interview. That was one of the things I did when I was in restaurant management, but that's besides the point. So, you move forward a few years and not really knowing what's going on. And I got a job, a civil service job, I guess you could say. And I was ready to roll with that, and I was all excited, and the benefits are great, and I was starting a family. Well, they ended up firing me before my first day because I lied on my application about my background check. So I really didn't know what was going on then either. Things happen, I thought it was maybe from that one arrest from 1991. No. Turns out, and I found this out after a couple more jobs, and finally somebody gave me the scoop of what was being shown on my background check. Well, this guy that had used supposedly, apparently, used my ID when he was arrested in 1997. Well, when I went to the police station that time in El Paso, they never filed the paperwork. In fact, he was released under my name, and he got convicted in his absence from court under my name. Warrants were issued for his arrest under my name, and all those went on my background check. Now, to top it all off, this guy also, the reason he used a fake name when he got arrested in the first place is because he was a fugitive for a murder charge. Well, he ended up getting arrested eventually, extradited back to where the murder was, convicted of capital murder. Well, guess what? Because he had used my name before, when he got convicted of the capital murder, they went ahead and put that on my record too, since I was an alias of his, which brought some other charges that he had had previously, and those got put on my record also, like participation in criminal activity, organized criminal activity, and a few other things. So as you can imagine, I've got and lost a lot of jobs over the last few years. Things have, sometimes gotten real bad, like when I was homeless. Sometimes, it's just having to deal with the fact that I've had to borrow money from family members, my wife's family. It's kind of embarrassing. And a lot of crazy bad things have happened over the last, now 13 years. Now, fortunately, after about 2 years of hounding the El Paso Police Department and trying to get them to fix my record, which they basically refused to do, I came across some people, or a person in the department that decided to help me. And one of the first steps was I had to make a report that my ID was stolen in the first place, which it never was, but we came up with some kind of story because that's the only way that they could help me, is if I made that report so that they could go back and investigate the situation. Now, after a few months, my record was expunged, finally. I was supposedly clear, all excited about that. And, things went on, and even to this day, I'm still being reported all this negative information. There's some kind of always a mix-up in the El Paso Police Department, or in their records department, or in their courthouse records, or in Texas State records. There's always some kind of mix-up, and they have yet to really follow through with anything they're supposed to do. They're actually, I think, in violation of their own court order. So that's just a brief summary of everything that's happened over the last 13 years, and how having your identity stolen or given away can really affect your life and put you in a really bad position. I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here. I'm going to give you the link to my website. The website is called goodnamegone.com. I'm going to have it posted all over this video somewhere, so you'll be able to see it. But go to goodnamegone.com and you can see a couple of my other videos that explain things in more detail. I even have one that will show you the paperwork. Of course, I black out some of my own pertinent information. Don't want my ID stolen again. Not that you would want it, but yeah, it's got documents and documents showing what they did, how basically what happened was the police themselves, he gave his name, and which he gave my name, I guess, and they just totally went back to my arrest in 1991 and filled out his whole arrest sheet. I have proof of that on there, and you get to see it all. So if you really want to investigate the situation, tell your friends about it. We are now to the point where I'm civilly suing El Paso County and the El Paso Police Department. So spread the word, ask some questions. If you know people there, ask some questions about, what's going on. And just tell your friends, I want your opinions. I want to know what you think about my situation. So there's a comment box below this. There's comment boxes on the website all over the place, under the videos, over the videos. I want to know what you think. So check me out.